All right, good morning, everybody. One more time, sound okay? And you should have a chart up in front of you that's basically a white chart with some red and green on it. You got it? All good? All right, let's see if we can crank through this. Let me clearly tell you the goal here today because we can't do everything. This is a real trading day. We have an hour to go. I so often talk about getting ready and give you little snippets of what I do. I figured why not just invite you in. This, of course, is just a personal preference. I mean, what I'm telling you naturally is not, what I think you have to do. There's lots of things I do just because I do them. You don't necessarily have to follow everything I do, but at least you can get a sample of what I do every morning. I also want to point out that to get ready for a day trading day like today, total time, top to bottom, out the door for me is about 45 minutes. So it's not real long. Naturally, talking while I do this and maybe occasionally explaining a couple things is I figure it's gonna take me much longer than that, but that's what we'll do. Now, I also have to emphasize here, and I hope I put it right in the email, the goal here today is not to examine charts and tell you why I like them. This is not a technical thing. This is just a structure of morning prep of what I do to get ready for a day trading day, okay? So number one thing that I do is, and I typically would do this in my living room, whatever, on the laptop, is I go through daily charts. And naturally, the daily charts could lead to swing trading concepts that I may enter during the day. I believe that, a swing trader, if they're with the market during the trading day, all your swing trades should be done starting intraday. It just is way better to do it that way. So any swing trades would come from this daily chart list, but also good intraday trades can also begin from having a nice daily chart to start with. So this program here, and again, not recommending it, could care less what you use. I've used this for 18 years. This is TC2000. I only like it because you can put it on your laptop, download the charts. It's very, very fast. So I'm going to go here and I'm starting right from zero. I didn't do any, like my charting platform is all from last night, so you're going to see everything that I do. So step number one is go through these charts. If you take a look here, I'm going to just do a couple things. Number one, I'm going to watch list, unflag all in the system, so I'm getting rid of everything that was flagged from yesterday. And then I'm going to hit a key combination here that's going to pull up my universe. This is a scan of charts, which is basically stocks over $2.50 and over 800,000. I think is what it's set to right now. I may adjust it a little bit from time to time because like after a holiday, you have to lower the volume or you won't get a number of charts in there. This, for some reason, is not showing. So there's 700 stocks here today in this list. And then I like to look at them in a certain order, not just randomly. I look at them price, V, and that'll bring up these qualifiers. And price, this is 48-day moving average. So I go to the top of the list by hitting home, and then what I have now is a list of 700 stocks that are ranked on strength in a sense based on the 40-period moving average, okay? That way I just know in the top of my head that I'm starting with strong and working my way down. Does that really matter? Probably not, but so then I started going through them. Now these early stocks, and again, personal preference, I don't look at this crap. I don't care about Bitcoin and all this other stuff that's bouncing all over the place. That to me is when there's a chart pattern I can read great. Right now, a stock goes from 1 to 22 in 3 days and pulls back $7. I don't have a clue what to do with it. So I don't look at these unless there's really an exceptional pattern setting up on the way up. So I just start going through these. And like I said, again, it's not a matter of justifying why I don't like these. The chart has to justify to me why I do like it. So I'll just I have this set on weekly. Boy, see, I did weekly charts last, so I almost screwed that up. Because I knew that chart I just saw, I knew that was not a daily chart. All right. Well, Evan, that's because I've been doing it forever. When you see, Evan, this is how fast I go through charts. So this takes 10 minutes when I do it on my own. This is what I do. I'm sitting there watching TV and I do this. Because the charts, now that caught my eye for a quick second, this last one, just because of a little rally into the, can you see that? No, I got to go there. There we go. But it's bull engulfing multiple bottoms, overextended on the way down. Don't care. So I mean, this is what I'm doing. The chart has to prove to me it's worth my time. Oh, darn it! What happened? Wait a minute. I didn't. It didn't go to daily charts for some reason. What's wrong with this? Why won't it go to daily? This thing was a little fluky when I opened it. I don't know why. Of course, it figures it would do that. Daily. All right. Let's try it again from the top. These are daily charts because I'm getting ready for a day trading day. This is not preparing for swing and core. This is, that's something you do on the weekend. Swing and core, I'll spend an extra half hour, 45 minutes a week, plus an extra half hour twice a month. So this is not taking me a lot of time. This is not like, I like to enjoy my time. And so, again, if this wasn't some nuts off the chart thing, it's pulling back. But I go through these early symbols fairly quick because I just don't care about any of these. And now that's interesting to me a little bit. NBR, big rally into the prior high. Let's flag that. Boom. So all I have to do is hit the F key on this, and it's off. I didn't include it for you, but just to the left of this chart is a list of the symbols I'm going through. It would just take up screen space for you. But I just put a little flag by it, and then at the end I can call up all the flags together. Now, by the way, in the concept for these, for those of you that understand, my teaching is these are all pullbacks after a climactic rally, and they don't work well, so I'm not interested. Keep in mind this is a little different day today because we had that big red bar in the daily chart yesterday, so several things got a little squished. So that's mildly interesting to me just because it is what I call a power trending daily, and you come down and find the little entries on the hourly chart, but I'm not going to flag that one. It made me pause for a second. But, and again, I want to just give you a sense of what it is to scan. I mean, I know when you're new or in the beginning, and that's mildly interesting to me, under that green bar tech, I'm going to flag this as a short watch. Right, you don't see the stock symbols. I haven't. It would take up screen space for you, and there's just, I'm not sure. I could set it that way, but I don't see the point. So there's kind of a climactic top on GG. I'll flag that and pull it off to the side. Now, naturally, I know when you're new or whatever, I mean, you can't go through them this fast probably, and certainly not while you're talking to somebody like I'm doing, but like I teach everybody, and many of you listening to me, you do, because you learn to see the pictures. And to me, this is like going through pictures of animals and trying to pull out the elephant. It's not hard to do. Generally, uptrending with a red bar is no kind of strategy to me, so I just let those go. Keep in mind also, out of these 700 stocks, I expect I'll flag 10, just so you have an idea. I'm not stopping on every symbol and examining it. I want a daily chart that has a certain look to it, either for a swing trade or for a bias for an intraday play. Well, I see everybody's email. Oh, back up. And also, by the way, I typically going so quick that when I see something, I have to go backwards to get it. So that's what I just did. I went back here. MDGX, I'm going to flag that. I like the wide range bar breaking across a weekly, even though it's a daily chart, it's a weekly consolidation pulling back relative strength to yesterday. So there's something I flagged. There's Cat and there's Noble and blah, 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 going. And this, I don't know. This may be worthless or boring to some of you. I really don't know. I tried to explain exactly what it was in the email. If you wanted to get up and join me, that's great. If not, that's okay. I won't be offended if you log out. But again, this is just what I do every day to get ready for day trading. Just taking you through from the first second. I did no extra prep other than I did have to cheat a little bit to get the letter out because that's going out in a couple of minutes. So, but I'm redoing it just for your benefit. So I had to double do a little work this morning to get the letter out on time. Now go back. See that mildly interesting there, iTub. You got the wide bar or red bar, so you have a consolidation breaking above the consolidation. I'm going to put that on the list there. That probably is a nice looking hourly chart. Do you have a bias for short or long based on yesterday's market closing? Yeah, I do money, but it's not relevant now. When I scan, I'm looking neutral. I'm just looking at charts in a vacuum. And then when I start the day, of course, I will have a market bias, which I explain and you'll hear in a little bit. If you guys all behave, I'll let you stay for the day. I'm not going to, bother to throw you out. So just please be courteous and keep in mind that there are real paying members here that Um, don't want to be overly distracted. If you have any extensive questions, you can always email me. And you got a quick question or two, that's fine. But when we get closer to 9:30, we're going to be, getting ready for the trading day. I don't think there's going to be much to do at open today, so it's a good day for this in that sense. I'm not going to be freaking. Yesterday was, you know, um, get short as quick as you can type of day. But so again, just a lot of sloppy patterns. It's energy. I stay away from energy a little bit just because it's not a market-related stock, and you lose that edge a little bit. I'll occasionally pull another backup. That's okay. I have that already on the gap list from yesterday, so I don't need to look at ladder. You're not seeing the stock symbol. Oh, I see what you mean up there at the top. Okay. Okay. I mean, it's not really critical, but I will. Yeah, let me readjust. Now I thought you meant the list off to the left. You're talking about. I see what you mean. Here, I will do. I will readjust for you. Sorry about that. You got cut off. Yeah, I don't think it matters terribly, but here, I'll give you the whole bigger picture here. So here's the list to the left, and it may shrink the chart a little bit, but okay. Boom. All right. There you go. So continuing on. So now you got the list off to the left I'm going through. I just hit the space bar and it goes a stock at a time. I get into the backspace to go backwards. And the only reason I don't do this on the platform are two reasons. Number one, I can do this on a laptop watching TV. And number two, it's very fast. Good platforms are not fast after hours or go about a third this fast at best. So again, lots of rallies with red bars. That's not a strategy to me, a setup of any kind on day one. So we're seeing a lot of that today. Back up. So a little interesting there on tear. I'll flag that. A gap down, then a retest and failure going into that prior high. I'm going to take a quick peek at the weekly chart because I want to see what's going on. Okay, don't like the weekly chart to do that, so I'm going to unflag that. So moving on. Moving on. What time is it? 8 o'clock. So to stay on schedule, I should be done with this at 8:15. Looks like we will be. If you guys stop whining about the symbol list, we'll be done soon. No, I'm just kidding. Back up. GLW catches my eye a little bit. I'm going to flag that. Moving on. Back up. That's CN. Yeah, I know that's CN. I know the chart. I have CN already because it was a gapper yesterday, so I know I'm already going to have that on my platform, so I don't need to flag it here. Back up. That's UNH. Yeah, I'm going to let that go. Marvell, CSX. Boom. Remember, I started, strongest at the top, at least based on the 40-period moving average, and so as we get to the bottom, we're going to see things that are actually downtrending on the daily. And naturally, today's market, you have to get back up. What's that? Yeah, I don't care. In today's market, you have to get like to the bottom, 10% of the stocks before you even see a downtrend anywhere. Other than the fact, and energy's been downtrending for a while, so they pretty much dominate the bottom of the list here. Back up. So there's I had this on the list yesterday. Trip. I'm going to let that go though. Stage 1 breakout, third day up, collapsed. I'll look at it maybe tomorrow. I'll see it. I also keep in mind, since I look at these every night, I don't need to flag something that might be interesting tomorrow. If it's not interesting to me today, I just let it go. Roseanne, looking for calls or puts is not a. Maybe I don't understand. Let me back up. Finzer I already have on my list here. Wait, where's Finzer from? Finzer, why do I have that? It's on yesterday's gap list, so I have that on my platform already. I mean, looking for calls or puts, I mean, I'd have to say I don't understand the question. I'm looking at charts. Calls and puts are not strategies. They're alternate ways to play stocks long and short. So if you want to do calls or puts on something, you have to find stocks you want long or short, correct? So until I have a concept of what I want to do, take a stock long, short, whatever, then if I wanted to do options on it, I would decide the benefits between options or the stock itself, right? Right? I mean, options aren't strategies. They're just different ways to alter the risk group. Back up. Milko. Milko, interesting. I'm going to put that, flag that. Right. So I'm looking at charts. And then when I find bullish charts, you can decide if you want to buy out of the money calls, buy in the money calls, sell puts, buy the stock itself. And again, since we're actually preparing for day trading, generally you don't recommend that you day trade with options, although some stocks you could. GM, I'm going to let that go. Good morning, Carmen. Blah, 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 blah. I'm making an effort to record this in case you came later missing it. I'll throw it out on the site, but my recording ability is so-so, so it's about a 70% chance we'll get a valid recording when I'm done. So this is slop, 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 slop. Oh, back up. So that's interesting, but not going to do anything with it. That was CF. Again, maybe 10. Oh, back up. Urban I have already on my list. It's on my platform, I know. So maybe 10% of the symbols I'll just stop and pause and look at for a brief second. And again, I'm going to be done. When I'm done, I'm going to flag, 10 or 12 symbols. That's it, out of 700 this morning. So that just shows you what I'm looking at. And sure, you could stop in any one of these charts and make an argument that it might be higher, it might be lower, but I don't want to argue about them. If it's not clearly telling me what's going on, I'm not interested. So sure, we could have philosophical discussions on every one of these charts, and I'm sure there's some where you're saying, wow, that looks interesting to me, and if that's the case, you should save it on your list and do whatever you do with it. Again, this is just procedural here. So what are we on? We're on 529 out of 700. Oh, back up. So that's interesting here to me. This is Lily. I haven't seen that. I'm going to flag Lily. Gapped under a lot of green. Closed red. I'm going to flag if Lily's flagged. Moving on, moving on, moving on. Well, some of those charts have big red bars that are destructive, bearish, like this one. Typically after a huge red bar, you have a narrow day, so it's not a top day trading concept usually on day two. Not always true, but I'm not going to play it, so why put it on the list? It's something I'll see tomorrow. If it gives me a narrow day today, that would tell me it has an hourly consolidation and could be played under the consolidation. Back up, back up. Well, this 2 looks like it's going to go to 0, but I'm not going to start that now. Sorry, had an itch. So, there we gapped out of the ashes, but Campbell's soup, poor Campbell. Ever since that gap down, Campbell's soup has been trash. I'm going to let that go, though. Boom, 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 boom. No, anything that I'd flag here could be a swing trade or could be a day trade. There's maybe a couple things money I would pick up as a day trade. I wouldn't for a swing trade, like a power trend. A power trend on the daily chart would not have any entry on the daily chart, but could intraday. Why did you filter out a day trade candle with the weekly? Because it was a retest and failure pattern in a prior daily high, and if that daily was at a brand new high, I'm not interested in it. I only want it if it's at prior resistance or in a downtrend on the weekly chart. As long as it's above the 40, you were looking for longs. No, no, John, no, no, not at all, Jonah, not necessarily, not at all. A lot of stuff can, just not true. He's asking if it's above the 40, I'm looking long, below. No, I just want to know that I'm starting with strength, ending with weakness. That's all in general. Are you primarily looking for gaps for injury? No, the gaps we find, we'll find the gaps in a minute when we look at the gap list today. On these daily charts, I'm not looking for gaps. As a matter of fact, if I'm doing a good job, anything that is showing a gap on the daily chart I'm interested in, I should already have on my platform because I should have had it the day it gapped and then continue to hang on to it on a list I call the carry list. We'll look at all that in just a minute. Right now, I have two computers side by side here, and right now I'm on my non-trading computer. So when I'm done, I have to take, well, that's mildly interesting there. But you see my problem here, just a quick little thing I like here too, 1.1%, this thing doesn't move. See what I mean? I don't look at something that's like below 1% because this is a stock that, all day long this thing will move 12 cents. So you'd have to have a ton of shares and it's just not worth it to me. So while that was an interesting chart, I know the volatility is such that it's just a dead stock, that it's not going to move much and not volatile enough to play effectively. Moving on. So we're down here to 669, so we got 40 charts to go. You're going to see a lot of energy utility stuff in here. And while these are all bearish, a lot, you have to pick the point in time in which you say, okay, I'm not going to chase that anymore because we're down 32 days in a row. And you have to get a sense. You can't see the hourly chart on the daily chart, but if the daily is already getting to that point that you're wondering if it can drop more, I don't want to play it anymore. And a lot of those you're seeing that are overcooked right now are some of the utilities. And where are we? 697. Dozen more to go. And we get to the end, they hop all over because you start to lose the 40 period moving average on some newer stocks, so they get defaulted to the end. So there we go. All right. So I'm done. What is the 1%? That is giving you, it's just a sign of volatility. It's showing you that between every space, every price on the right, it's only 1%, which means that it's not moving much. It means like the whole day the thing may move 10 cents on a stock like that. So it's just not. All right. So so now I hit a key combination here. Type all flag, and it's going to pull up just the flagged items. And then I go now, for me, because I'm on the wrong computer, what I have to do, and again, this is a personal thing, it's not something you necessarily have to do. I go to Tool, Data Bank, Export to Text, and hit Export. It says OK, blah, 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 blah. And I'm done with that, and now it dropped that file, just a little text file with those symbols you see right there, onto my desktop. And then I slide this into a little folder that's on my network, which I can then access on my other computer, which is where we're going to go right now. So that's sitting in that folder right now. So now I slide over here to the other computer. Isn't this boring? You want to know what I'm eating for breakfast too? And then let's nope, not cornflakes. I'll give you a hint. There's an empty banana peel sitting next to me. Does that give you a hint? All right, so I'm going to pull up the camera on this computer now. And I'm going to make this picture bigger than I normally do so you can see all of my watch lists. Boom. Why can't I? There we go. Okay. All right, so now we're on my trading platform. What does this say? Small preview. Okay, there we go. And you guys know you have little buttons on the top where you can zoom in or whatever. If you have the full picture, you should be seeing three charts. Well, through a gray chart, a white chart, and then there's a total of 8 watch lists here. So let me tell you what these watch lists are before we go any further so you don't get lost. Which is 8:15, we're, I guess, right on schedule. Um, Over here in the yellow on the right, that's the hot list. This is all duplicates of other symbols, and this is from yesterday. So I can just wipe this out. I don't need to, I never put anything new on here without putting it somewhere else. So this is all stuff I had yesterday, so I've already seen all this. So I can erase all this. I want to leave AEO there. I'll tell you why later maybe. And then, so this is yesterday's red and green. That's the daily list from yesterday. What I just did now, these are the lists from yesterday. Now I'll typically go through and clean these up, like to, in a sense I shouldn't have to because I just looked at these, but sometimes I may add something here during the trading day, so I want to make sure I didn't. So HCN don't care about, Duke don't care about, Excel don't care about, Exis, this is the bearish side, don't care about, Infi. Infi I'll leave on here, and Urban I will leave on here as well. All right, then clean up the daily list, the daily bullish list. This is from yesterday, just ATVI, you can take it off. USG I'm going to leave on here. I don't know if I would ever play this, but this is that hard drop to minor support on the daily chart, so this could be interesting if we don't have a bearish day today, so I'll leave that on the list. ERJ, I'll take off, and again, this is just yesterday's, what I did today, this is from yesterday what I did. MDXG I have here, and I also have on today's, so it doesn't matter if I take it or leave it. That I'm taking off. SC, and take off. Trip, and take off. TWX, Twix chocolate company, take that off. Okay, so then I go over here, and now I need to open my little text list. Where is it? Here it is. And then what I usually do is I usually pick a list and just post it into one of these, even though it's a mixture. So I'm going to put a number 2 there and put it in the bullish list, even though it's a mixture of strong and weak. So then I take a second look at these to make sure I still want them, looking at all the time frames now. You have here a daily chart on top and a 60, and then make that a 5-minute chart there. And GG belongs on the bearish side, and again, since I don't separate them when I do these, I have to do it now. So boom, GLW can stay on the bullish side, and again, an hourly pullback in this area could be interesting on a weak morning or something. ITUB, yeah, kind of like ITUB. Got that 50-minute consolidation roll, so I'll leave that there. Lily was a bearish one, and I like it still, so Lily goes over there. Erase it from here. MGGX, okay, I like this, but I have it up above already from yesterday, so I don't need to double up. Milko, okay, that stays on the bullish list here. NBR would be a bearish one. And Tech would also be a bearish one. Okay, so I now have my daily. I can get rid of the number 2 there. I now have my daily list, save my page in case I crash. And let me just look at something else here. Since I kind of cheated and I did this for the letter, I also had QCOM. That's from yesterday. I don't know why. Oh, that was on a little miscellaneous list. Okay, all right. And then over here, did I have something else? Oh, yeah, you know why? Yeah, because I have to go through your list. All right, so there's my daily that's all set to go now. Now, they're not really all set because down here are the gap lists. Now, I need to clear these out and make them 0 because these are gaps from yesterday. But some of the gaps from yesterday could be one of 2 categories. They could go to the daily list for today if they're bullish, like CN is going to go there. CN right there. I think CN is a decent enough gap to watch it today. And if it's not good enough for today, I may put it on this blue list. This is called the carry list. This is something that had a really powerful move, but I'm not going to play today for some reason, so I just put it on the carry list. Some of the gaps are like that. They need a pullback or they need something else, but even though theoretically I may see them on a daily chart, I want to keep an eye on them during the day today for later today, okay? So ENR was a gapper yesterday. I'm not even going to follow that. LADR, I'm going to put on the carry list because on the weekly chart, I think that was pretty interesting. Yeah, I'll put that in the carry list. Carry list, I don't need any qualifications, just interesting. It may even be for my own education. I just want to see what it does. I'll go through that usually once after hours and once during the middle of the day just to see what's going on. BB, get rid of it. Merck, get rid of it. VIPS, yeah, VIPS is like forever bullish. Let me look at the weekly chart. VIPS, yeah, I'm just going to get rid of that. GG is on a list already. I have it up there. CN, I just put on the daily list up above. GM, that's kind of interesting. I'll put GM. Remember I saw GM and I didn't put it. Now I will because the hourly chart's a little bit interesting. C is doing earnings today. I just know in the back of my head, so there's no point in keeping this around because it's probably going to gap. And then Yum C. This is my play yesterday. Shorted Yum C at the high of the day. That was the main play yesterday. Okay, so that's on gap downs from yesterday. See, I put you guys all to sleep. Nobody's asked a question now in 10 minutes. That's good. Once I'm going to put in the carry list. I want to see what happens to that one. I have this theory. I never. It was interesting yesterday. I never did this because things that seriously down, big gap, they tend to not return to those lows. So I don't think that's ever going to go lower. But I'm putting it on the carry list just for my own education. Edumacation. Finzer, yeah, FNSR. That's why I had that on the list before because it's a gap from yesterday I think is interesting. I like Finzer lower. UA was a really nice one from yesterday. I didn't do this, but it is going to the carry list for me because I'm not going to play that tomorrow. Today, I mean. GE. Nothing to me. FCX, I think was a decent short yesterday. Yeah, I'm not going to follow that though. Yum did already. And Cenex. I'm going to take that off as well. Okay, so my gap lists are now cleared out and they're ready for today's gaps. The daily lists are done at this point. Unless over here, now this, okay, so this is daily, and then gap. The whites are gaps. Blue is the carry list, yellow is the hot list. Over here is a miscellaneous list. So in the top, I just have the futures and the Q and the SPY just so I can click on them easy, no big deal. And then you see it's extended. There's a list here of these things that are extended. Extended to the upside means it could still be a long. It could reach a point where it goes climactic and boom, you want to short it, or vice versa. Extended plus a big red bar equals nothing to do anymore. So that's done. Let's make it wiped out today. ESRX, amazing hold. This is something I'd be bullish on still, so I'll stay on the list there. UAL, I'm going to come off the list. KSS, I think I want to put on the short watch list. And then Target is nothing. BA, nothing. Whoops. CAH. I'm going to leave that there. UPS. Let me take off CLNS. I'm going to take off GG. I have already over there. HPQ. Interesting HPQ. I'm gonna leave. No, that's not interesting. Take that off. That flash is something else. Don't know what it was. All right, then going the other way, baby extended down, maybe transitioning on the hourly. Just again, these are just kind of back burner watches. And then below the number 3 are things that I found during the day yesterday that I maybe added to a list I want to check out today and see if I like. So CMCSA actually is mildly interesting. I'll put that on the daily list here. And then C. All right. All right, so my lists are all cleaned up, save my page. Now I have to go through my hourly charts, and this, I should have started this about 7 minutes ago. This is gonna take, well, actually it may be okay, because since we're doing this prep, I really don't have to be done until 9:15 or 9:20, so maybe we'll be okay here. So, yeah, let me get rid of this. Get rid of that. Save my page, and now I'm gonna go to a, I call it a research page, and I'm probably going to change the camera for you here a little bit. Yes, I am. Okay, so now you should be seeing 4 charts. Now off to the right, I'm not going to keep this on the screen, but off to the right, here's a list of 290 symbols. These are the highest volume stocks, minus some things I take out because I don't like them or they're duplicates of other things. That list is in the room down there. You can grab it if you want, even if you're visiting. It's called Paul Universes. There's 2 tabs. I'm going to click on these as I go through, and what I'm looking at here is the hourly chart, almost 100% plus a little glimpse at the daily to make sure the hourly chart's in the right spot. And again, I'm looking for my setups. I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. Well, like, of course I am. And it's the same thing. It's not a matter of justifying why I don't like it. It's the stock has to justify to me why I'm interested in it. So. And of course, see, this goes slower. This is as fast as I can go on this. And that's the problem with looking at daily charts. It's just, and then when we're done with this, this will go on that list on the left of hourly charts. And then I need to go to the gap list. I usually do that about 8:45. And then be done with that by 9 o'clock. And then go through and pull out my favorites for the day. And now I'll be 100% prepared for the day, know every symbol I'm looking at, what I want to do. And again, this normally takes about 45 minutes for this whole thing, about 10 to 15 minutes for the daily charts, about 20 minutes for this, and about 10 minutes for the gaps. And that doesn't count last minute synthesizing or whatever, trying to figure out what to do. That's just getting it all on the screen, okay? Well, Steve, it's what I do lectures on this, but I think when people hear them, they just think I'm on drugs or something. But I talk about having to see pictures because, like, when you're brand new, you just have this list of stuff you're looking at. I'm gonna go back a couple symbols here. When you're brand new, you have this list of stuff, and you have to pull out a chart and go, okay, where's the prior pivot high? Where's the prior pivot low? Where's the 20 period moving out? You just keep going through, and it takes forever. But you have to develop that into a picture. And like I say, I'm not joking. It's like a new person. Whoops, what? Oh, that's QCOM, right? Yeah, okay, I got QCOM already on the list. Oh, did I put that on my list? I didn't put that on my list, I don't think. So now what I do here is, because this platform is not really great for saving symbols, I just actually go and type them on a notepad because I'm only going to have about 10 of them. So I put QCOM. I'm not sure if I saved QCOM or not. So QCOM is just interesting yesterday and a nice daily chart breakout, and it's not going to be playable this morning. But what I always joke about is like if somebody came here from another planet and you told them to go to the zoo and find an elephant, and you described an elephant as having uh, 4 legs and 2 eyes, et cetera, et cetera. They may come up with a tiger or something and say, look, four legs, a mouth, 2 eyes. No, that's not what I meant to describe. But eventually you get a picture. So I mean, to me and to a lot of people in here listening to me, I'm sure, it's going through these charts is just like going through a series of animal pictures looking for the elephant. I mean, you don't really have to stare at them a long time. And like I said, about every 10th or 15th one, I'll pause for a second, just take a little better look as it catches my eye. But all this slop, this is just, and today's an exceptionally sloppy day because we have an uptrend with the big red bar yesterday, which a lot of symbols are reflecting. Now, this is mildly interesting to me here. We have a little 1, 2, 3 continuation play here on LB after a gap down, after a sell setup type rally. So LB, I'm going to put on the list there as a short thing. Oh, thanks, Mario. Okay. And I think that's important, not just for speed, but just intellectually to understand this stuff. The strategies you'd like should form a picture in your brain of what it is you're looking for across multiple time frames. And it's just something that'll come after looking at charts a little bit. You just pretty soon get to know what it is you like. And I may be going past some charts as some of you are seeing things you say, hey, that's something I like. Okay, I mean, that's good. Save it. Again, this is not nothing I'm doing today. This is just hey, come to my world here for an hour this morning and see what I do. None of this is what I'd say you have to do, or you may have better ways of doing it. And again, this is not about why I like a symbol. I do that on some other days, but we don't have time to do that. This is just structurally, what do I do to get ready for the day? So you can see, by the time the day opens for day trading, I have looked at a lot of symbols. And whoops, back up. Again, I'm usually, this is BMY. Steve had this yesterday as a short. He had a great job with this. I didn't see this until it was way too late. But for today, I'm not going to flag it because I don't know what to do with that today. It probably bounces back today, but I don't know what it's going to do. I'm going to let it go. GLW, do I have that? I have that, right? Yeah, I saved GLW. Newell, see, some things will overlap. The daily chart and the hourly chart, you see them on both. Some things, I mean, a lot of things you see on the hourly chart, though, you won't see on a daily. If you got a green bar in the daily chart, it could form a lot of different ways, and oftentimes it's not anything interesting. But the hourly charts are where it's at. I'm going to flag this thing, CTRP. The hourly charts are where it's at for day trading. How many setups pictures are you looking for? Yeah, it's a good question, Joe Henry's probably 8 or 10 common ones, I guess I would say. But then there's just interesting events that you don't see every day that make me say But trends, consolidations, big bars, failure of big bars in both directions. Those are the common things I'm looking for. And clean on any one of those. Clean has a definition, but a lot of, remember 90% of what you look at is just sloppy garbage. It's like we could discuss it all day if you want to, but I'm never going to take a trade on it. I want something that, even when you find the best of the best, to me, you still have, you have okay odds, but trading is never about having 100% odds. It's trying to get good odds. And then some days, I'll still talk about HLT from last week. That was the most confident player I ever had. HLT, I played twice last week, and the first one especially was like, I don't know how you rate confidence, but if you give a percentage to it, but that probably is the highest confidence rated thing I ever had. It was just one of those perfect charts. You didn't have to do anything fancy. But when you don't find that, the question becomes, what do you trade? So you have to start pulling out your bag of tricks not bag of tricks, that's the wrong word, but your little closer look tools to try and find something that you think has good odds, even if it's not the best odds. See, yeah, today, this is, back up. This is going to be a tough morning. I'm probably going to be kind of watching this morning, and we'll talk about market bias in a minute. So this is interesting here to me. So we have a sloppy daily. In this case, we want this stock because this is going to the top of the consolidation. I'll fly. I never heard of this stock though, even though it's on my list. Kate. Oh, this is Kraft Heinz. Oh, a little merger combination thing. What is it? KHC. It used to be KFT or KRFT. I don't know. Who cares? I don't keep track of all these mergers and stuff. This right now is TradeStation charts. How long after market do you start looking at things? Not. Oh, like when would I start doing intraday scanning, Ron, for stuff not on my list? Is that what you mean? Yeah, good question. As soon as I'm bored with what I'm looking at. Some days, the answer is basically never. I mean, I am, pretty well prepared with a good list of symbols, and sometimes you have specific moments of the day you want to hit, and you got what you want, and there's nothing else to look for. This is NRG. What is this? This is NRG. I like that lower, but I'll put it on the list, I guess. And there's some days at 9:45, I'm like, okay, let's go look for something else because I don't. Remember, a watch list is just a watch list. It really doesn't mean much. All it is, it's like the beginning of a conditional statement. Here's a stock that's doing this, but for me to take a trade, it now has to do this, this, and this, right? So just a list. And again, if some of you walk away this morning, you keep my list and you say, gee, Paul's list really stunk. The bullish things didn't go up. Well, that's not the point of the list. I'm not saying the green list is going higher. I'm saying the green list is something I want to look at because if A, B, and C happen, then I would take a trade that would go higher. Does everybody get that concept? Just green list, red list does not mean they're going higher, going lower. As a matter of fact, some of the best longs you'll ever have are ones that have a difficult resistance area. As a matter of fact, you put something on the long list, and if you had a gun to your head, you'd probably say it's going to fall. Why do you put it on the long list? Because if it gets over a certain area, then it's a great long, right? So don't be confused about watch lists. Just because you're looking at something to be long or short doesn't mean that's the most likely direction. Does that even make sense? It makes perfect sense to me, but I'm not sure it makes sense to somebody listening to me, especially since I'm scanning, looking at the time, and also looking at what my neighbor's doing out the window. LRX, Bubba. I'm going to save this one here. This is AXP. Are they doing earnings? No, everyone else is doing earnings, right? They're not doing earnings this week, or at least not the next couple of days. I also don't like trading stocks the day before they do earnings, because you will find that a lot of people just, have to, a lot of big places have to buy and sell them for no other reason than the fact that earnings are coming, and it makes for weird chart patterns. It's not the normal flow of buying and selling because of what's going on. It's somebody just says out of the clear blue sky, well, I need to sell 500,000 shares of this today just because I do. It has nothing to do with anything. So sometimes you get kind of wacky moves into earnings. You get numbers that leak and people guessing them, and then it comes out the leak is wrong. And so I just like just normal, to me, just normal stocks on a normal day is where the money is. Not interested in finding the new high volatile Bitcoin stock or whatever else. There's just no need to do that. That's going for the home runs. And generally, you're going to strike out a lot when going for the home runs. Oop, back up to DG. You know what record Babe Ruth had for the longest time? Anybody know what record he held for the longest time? That's mildly interesting. It would be on the hourly if the daily chart wasn't free flowing. Again, they're getting less than normal hits today because of the pattern yesterday is really dementing the charts. Yep, Babe Ruth, his longest lasting record was for most strikeouts. Nobody remembers that one, of course. But Not saying he wasn't a good player. I'm just saying you get the strikeouts. Looks like we're done screening tuning. No, we're still on the 290 money. Why do you think we switched? We're still on the 290. We didn't do 290 yet. We're only, I don't know. This isn't numbered. I guess we're about 200 into it. Why do you think we're done with the 290? You been counting them or something secretly off to the side? Got a little counter going? 1, 2, 3, 4. Maris, I thought, didn't Aaron beat Babe Ruth's record? Go back a couple. There's a nice hourly sell setup. HNI, NI. Nice source. I'm going to put NI on the list there. This is a cute little, and again. Money, why do you think we're done, Money? We're still on the 290. We're done with the 290. We're going to go to gaps, and I got to get there very quickly here. Oh, you mean in a year? Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, I was talking total home runs, right? Didn't somebody correct? I'm not sure I know what I'm talking about. So Maris beat his most home runs in a year, but total home runs hit in a career, I think that was Aaron that beat him, right? Hank Aaron? We're talking about different records. And I might be wrong. I think that's what it was. Yeah, so Maris for most in a year. Okay, all right, gotcha. And Babe Ruth had to do it with just a regular bat and no steroids. Just kidding, that wasn't nice. MCK. I'm going to flag MCK. In this case, flag, but write it down, MCK. Extended is all it is, but into a prior weekly high and transitioning on the hourly chart could play that possibly. Of course, one negative you have to look at about trying to short anything like MCK is, of course, the relative strength that it survived yesterday, right? Now we're coming to the end here. We're almost there. It was sloppy. Boom, boom, boom. And back up to that one. What was that? That was ALXN. That hourly chart I could like if it was on a different daily, so I'm just going to move on. I'm pausing on this one. I'm going to go on. You notice I'm not interested in strong stocks that broke prior support. Those are not good plays as a rule. I back up. What was that? Maxim. Prior. Okay. Moving on. Moving on. Moving on. You're going to start seeing some stuff on the gap list because coming to the end. And keep in mind, while some of these charts you look at may have bearish implications moving forward, they're just simply not like this. I mean, it's not something I'm going to trade today. What do you do with that today? 90% chance this has a little small range today that pops higher, pops lower, fakes you out. You just got to, kind of know some of these patterns. And, a lot of it's just personal preference, what you want to do, not want to do. All right, there was synopsis. I didn't say snap. Boom, 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 boom. All right, we are done. Okay, so now I'm going to take you back to the main page. So now I have that list of hourly charts. I have to readjust the camera one more time. So I'm back to my home page, and I'm going to focus just on the upper part of the area with 3 charts in the main 4 watch lists. The gap lists will be off the screen, but I will pull them onto the screen when I do them here. So, all right. So now, gap lists. When you do a gap list, I don't know of any gap list that always gets everything. First, I don't know why that is. People get data feeds. There's 2 or 3 data vendors, and they show up differently. I don't know why it is, to be honest with you, but I've never just seen a gap list that always has everything. See, it's helpful to look at a couple different ones. There's one, built into this platform here. It's right there. It's off to the side. I look at that as a backup to make sure I didn't miss anything. To do my gap list, I use a little scanner, and there's a bunch of them out there, and it's just simply comparing. And on that scanner, I'm comparing the bid today to yesterday's closing price, because I don't want to get involved with what happens sometimes is a stock with a $3 spread. 100 shares will go off pre-market. It looks like a gap. It's not really a gap. So I want to see the bid and the offer going above or below yesterday's closing price. So I'm going to pull up these scans. You're not going to see these. They're going to be off the screen here, but I'll transfer the symbols one at a time. Oh, good. Gap up list is only about a dozen things. There's not too many things on there. Gap up, gap down. So I'm opening 2 scan lists because I like these a little better. Yeah, I only got about a dozen on each. That's good. And sometimes we have way more than that. It's 10 to 9, so I'm kind of right on schedule. What do I have to do? Okay, so the letter went out at 9 o'clock. I have to, start talking in the room. I'm already talking in the room. Okay, so actually, we're good because I don't need to do the half-hour prep. Yeah, so okay, so we're actually good. We're good on time here. Okay, gappers. Number 1 on the list, gapping 1,414% is MNGA. I have no idea what this is. This is some kind of mistake or something, so I don't care if it's not. So Juno is the next one on the list. Juno is, and here to do this here, I'll make this a pre-market chart for you guys so you can see where it's gapping to. So Juno's gapping to 70-ish. Did most of that last night. It was at 46. So this is a huge gap. It is trading freely, so it's not a buyout or anything, I can tell. It's going up to 70. I'll put this on there for fun. I mean, this is a crazy one. This is one I like doing normally. So down here, I'll pull these up. These are my gap lists that I will start to form. Now keep in mind, this is not the hot list. This is just stuff that's gapping in a way that I at least want to see it, just for fun. Being bought by sellers, well, I guarantee you if you look at your thing that it is being bought for stock, not for cash. So it's still a valid trade because it's going all over the place. The only time you want to eliminate something if it's bought for cash and it's a done deal. Not an offer, not a partially done deal. If it's a done deal for cash, then it won't trade. But if it's anything else, it will trade. And you can tell this by looking at the screen. You can see how much it's moved around since the news. So I'm not going to like that anyhow, probably. But I'm just putting it out on the list. So ITUS is the next one, ITUS, and it's gapping to 475. I don't care. ICHR, never heard of this thing. Barely traded this morning, gapping to 740 to 27.5, about 7%. This normally does 500,000 shares. Traded 20,000 this morning. Do I have the right one? ITUS. Oh, I'm sorry, ICHR. They skipped order on me. So this is barely, it's traded 9,000 this morning. Normally it was 800,000, gapping to 27.5. I'm going to put on the list, but it could be, it's not going to be good. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm never going to look at it probably. AMRS is, I don't care where that's even gapping to. This is the gap up list, so. SRNE normally does 1.9 million, done 18,000, gapping to 615. Weekly chart real quick. That actually is still kind of bullish. I'm going to put it on the list. I don't know if it's something I'll end up doing, but I'm going to put it out there on the list. And Blue, BLUE, is gap. Oh, what is Blue? I'm sorry, I fell asleep there. Blue is gapping to 174-ish. Normally does 1 million shares. Did 20,000 this morning. 174. Oh, not enough. I got a little excited because this gapping to 178, 180, 190 would be interesting. This is not gapping enough to really make it exciting to me. But I will put on the gap list. There's like 3 standards. There's like, you know, some of the stuff I never even put on my platform because I could care less about it. Some stuff I'll put on the gap list just for fun, for education, to look at. Maybe it could set up. And there's stuff that, you know, really like. So far, there's nothing I really like. There's nothing I'm like, wow, can't wait for the market to open. It's so far this stuff is, you know, like Blue could be a trade. If I could draw the intraday chart the first half hour, I could make it a trade, but it's not likely going to happen. Fate, 696, not enough. Now Fate over 720 would be interesting. It's not going to do that likely at this point. So IOVA is opening around 960, so that's going to clear all this stuff. IOVA normally has 400,000 shares. I'm not even going to follow this one. It's so-so and it's not going to be tradable. Labu, L-A-B-U. L-A-B-U. Labu is opening at 84. Who cares? GBT. Didn't we have, weren't there a couple banks doing earnings today, this morning? Wasn't there? GBT opening at 53. Who cares? Now this is also ranked by size of gap. So as we get down the list here, the gaps are smaller and smaller. Ulta. Ulta had a nice chart pattern. Now it's going to gap to 245. Well, this is nothing for early, but it could set up later. I'll put Ulta on the list here. And then there's this used to be a favorite, PSTG. This was a nice play a long time ago, I remember. PSTG. What's going on here? I'm lost. 1,000 shares normally is 1.5, opening is 1670. Wow, see now this gapping over 1710 would be a great gap. That would have me really excited. It's not quite getting there, but under the concept that maybe it'll get there, I want to watch PSTG. Anybody's hanging around PSTG, excuse me, ends up clearing 17, I want to know about it, okay? I'll put it on a chart somewhere. PSTG could be a great gap. And then SGMO, that'd be just the gap I'm looking for there. SGMO is going to open at 1780. Who cares? Gapping down. Let me see comments real quick. Yeah, money. Come on, have some more coffee. Wake up. Stay with us here. Money. I have now switched to a gap list. I said, okay. I said, dun, 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 I'm done with the 290 list. Those are hourly charts. I said, I am now opening gap lists. There's one on my platform. It's right here. There's another one in a scanner I use. I'm using the one in a scanner. This is now finding stocks that are gapping pre-market based on the bid or offer compared to yesterday's closing price, okay? So that's what I just went through. I went through about 15 stocks that are gapping up, and of those, I put 4 on the list. I don't really care much about any of these except, where'd it go? What the heck? Where'd it go? PSTG. Where's PSTG? Who took it off of there? PSTG. Didn't I type that in there? If PSTG were to gap more, this would be a really nice gap. This would be my focus this morning if this were to gap more. It's not going to gap more, but hey, Tom, thanks. So the gap list, so this is from a pre-done scan money. So there's only 16 stocks I have to look at that were gapping up, and I just did that. I'm looking at the gap downs in a minute here. Yeah, who else is doing earnings though? Goldman Sachs and BAC. Yeah, BAC. I thought there's a third one too. There's some other little banks. So there's not gapping at all, really. There's no gaps in here, really. You know, BAC I wouldn't want to do with anyhow. Yeah, they're just opening flat. Okay, just know they did earnings and nobody cares. UGAZ is a ETF. Sean, I don't know what it is. It's a accelerated gas and oil price or something. It's an ETF I was looking at. I don't care about this really at all. These aren't really gaps because the trade's 24 hours is the issue, Sean. They're not really gaps. They trade all the time, and it's just spots and dots on the chart when we turn on our daily chart. So I don't want to do an ETF that trades 24 hours. But thanks for the offer. MLTK is what is that? Can I read that? MLTK? Type that in capitals, or do you have it wrong, or I'm looking at it wrong? Whatever is that? Oh, MITK maybe? Oh, MITK. Never mind. Got it. To 10:30. Yeah, this is yeah. Yeah, this might be an okay gap, um, but tradability is going to be zero probably. I'll put it on here, but even just just me myself all alone in a room, I don't think I could trade that. It trades 200,000 shares a day. It shows a 15-cent spread on a $10 stock right now. I mean, we can look at it and see it's an okay gap. Yeah, and gapping. So what else, Tom? There's a couple there I missed. AMAT is going to gap to 55.40. AMAT, little sleeper. See, this is a good find there by Tom. This is not gapping enough to make the percentage I use. But AMAT is interesting. AMAT I'm going to put right on the hot list because that'll be something. And also PSTG I'm going to put there from the gap up list. But again, PSTG is not going to gap enough, but if it does, I want to see it. That would be my favorite. In blue, I have ASML. So now I'm looking at Tom's list. The room here contributes some symbols, and he's found some things I don't have. This is gapping at 197. Yeah, I'm going to let that go. CLS, I've not heard of. He's going to open at 28. And that could be an okay gap, but again, this is super thin. IBM's not thin. IBM opening at 167. That's a tough gap. I don't know. I think it's maybe bullish, but not this morning. I'll put it on the gap list here, and I'll look at it later. And I think, didn't I look at LRCX? Seems familiar to me. Over to 193. Yeah, I'm gonna let that go. TAL and VRS. So TAL gapping into that red bar a little bit. VRS. All right, so gap down. So I'm going to go to my gap down list now, which has about 12 things on it. HIVE is the one gapping the most percentage-wise, 18%. Done 5,000 shares though. This maybe not even really gapping. 500,000 normally on a day, gapping down to 460. Don't care about this one. Don't know what it's going to do. Halo. Halo normally does 1 million. It's done 160,000 this morning, gapping to 1725. This one I'll put on the list to watch. I'm going to take a quick peek at the weekly chart because I can't see enough of the daily. 1725. So that's right in there. Yeah, let's watch Halo. So Halo, first one on the gap down list to watch. ADNT. ADNT gapping at 75.50. Normally does 600,000. Well, I'll put it on the list. You got a hunch this is never going to be a trade, but I'll put it on the list there. Um, LABD. What is this? Yeah, this LABD is a triple biotech ETF, right? Is that right? That doesn't sound right to me. That's what this says it is. It's gapping to 405. No, I'm gonna let that go. I don't care what it is. And grow gapping to 375. Maybe interesting on grow. Yeah, nothing. Boot gap in 1825. Not a great area. Boot also no volume normally. SBGL. Again, I'm working off of a list here. Working off a gap down list. There's just about 3-4 more symbols on here. SBGL down to 518. Yeah, that's interesting. This does 2.8 million shares a day, normally 100. Yeah, SPGL so far, kind of my favorite gap down, I think. SPGL, 518, mildly. That's not bad, actually. Not bad. Ford gapping down. Ford gapping to 1263. Yeah, it's a terrible chart to play. I'm going to put it on the list because I like Ford, but I'm probably more bullish on that than bearish. And again, if you don't, if so many of these are just unclear. Gaps are huge in the category. You got to see what they're going to do intraday, but sometimes you see some you clearly bullish or bearish. Ford is not that case. NTNX is what, down at 34.90. I don't know what to do with that. And MRZ and FAST. MRZ, is that right? NRZ and FAST. FAST should merge with Weight Watchers. That'd be a good combination, I think. All right, and then I'll look at the room here. Tom has a list for me of stuff that I may have missed some. See, Weight Watchers and FAST should merge, be a good merger. And you guys need some more. You guys all need some more coffee or something. So gapping down A10. See, when people are on a diet, they fast. It's a term for fasting. I know it's fast and all, but they fast. So if you merge fast and Weight Watchers, you'd have people losing weight faster. Kick everyone out of the room. Just sit here by myself. A10. So A10. Yeah, no volume here. Questionable pattern. I don't know, Carmen. You have people in the room, and they don't even give you a courtesy LOL. Don't know. I know they're so busy taking notes they don't have time to say. Keep your See, CSX gapping down. No, GE as well as Ford. Oh, I'm sorry, GM, Ford, GE. GE is gapping down today. Oh, 1777. Wow, poor GE. Wow, that is interesting now. GE. I was going to say I don't like that today, but based on yesterday's pattern, but GE is interesting gapping down. Yeah. I've got it. IBKR. RSD fast. And those that are commenting are insulting me. I don't know. All right, boom, boom, boom. Okay. So that's it. So it's 9:05. So now what I have, guys, I'm fully set on my screen. There's my gap list. I'm going to pull that back down again because I don't keep it there. There's my gap up list. And again, that's not every stock in the world gapping. That's everything gapping that I think could remotely, possibly, maybe, somehow, maybe be a play somewhere sometime. So now I need to go through these lists and pull out the ones that I'd be interested in trading the next half hour. That's the hot list because you see I have a fair number of, so how many do I have? So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 20. So I have like 35 symbols on my screen, on my list. There are those 4 lists. Oh, and that doesn't even count the hourly charts. I got to put the hourly charts over here. Where are those? Oh, right there. So the hourly charts I put right here. And now what my job is to go through and sift through this and decide from here out of those. So there's like 45 symbols on my screen now. And what I need to do now is go through and put everything in 3 categories. One category is it just stays on the list, look at it later. Or possibly take it off the list because I goofed. Second category is put it on a thumbnail chart. Now off to my right I have 2 monitors of thumbnail charts. So second category is goes on a thumbnail charts to keep an eye on it. Third category is goes to the hot list. Also goes on a chart, but a chart right in front of me, most likely to play the next 30 minutes. Okay, everybody got that? Let me look at you guys have some other comments here before I do. There's Tal. Boy, timing wise, this is going to work out perfect somehow. I don't know how that happened. I got several people emailing me they couldn't get in or something. Well, you should have signed up on time, not waited until the market's opening, right? Tal? Yeah, Tal's gapping was on my list. I looked at it, Sean. It was on the list. I just don't care about it. I mean, I don't know what to do with it. You may like it for. I mean, it's fine. I'm not. Just for me, what I do, I have no interest. Tal is probably lower, if anything. But I don't know. I shouldn't say I really don't know. I don't know what Tal is. Selge is going to open at 102. All right, Selge is. I didn't see Selge. That Selge is mildly interesting. That should at least go on the gap down list. I'm going to put on the gap down list, and then I'll see when I go through everything what we're going to do. And SGH is SGH. Is that a real symbol? Oh, there it is. SGH 3650. Yeah, that's. Is it actually? What you have on SGH, I'm afraid, I think. I can't find it. Is you have a stock that's so thin, it printed once. The bid's 35.75, so I don't think that's going to gap. You're seeing a stock that's so thin, it printed one time at the bid or the offer, so it's not really going to gap. If it did, that would be somewhat interesting. If that cleared 36.50, I'd be okay. All right, so now we need to go through these lists and pick out the favorites. So I already put 2 out here. So AMAT is going to be a favorite gapper for me. So this pre-market, real quick. So yesterday it gapped up post-market, whatever was said, consolidated today, gapping up a little bit more. It's at 55.40. And that's enough to clear the hourly chart, not the daily chart, but daily's trying to get a new uptrend. What the heck happened there? I did an upgrade on this thing and it took all my volume bars and increased the size of them. I had to go through and lower all of them. So weekly stage 2 daily chart resuming after the weekly bottom and gapping over an hourly pivot is good enough. So AMAT I like. So AMAT will go on a first row thumbnail for me. Now my thumbnails are in my head are organized perfectly in the sense of whether the stock is gapping or an hourly chart, whether I want it to pull back or rally, and whether it's a long or a short. So once I put it on a spot on my charts, I don't really need to know the symbol anymore or why I liked it. I just need to know that I'm looking for a bullish setup probably on that. Hot list is yellow, correct? Way on the right here, yeah. Hot list is yellow. So now I'm taking all these other lists and deciding what is most likely to be traded the next half hour. And you see when I'm done, I'll end up with 10 stocks on the hot list, and probably 4 or 5 of those I'm really staring at. So I take this whole process. You've seen me go through about 1,000 symbols approximately, which is what I say I do every day. And I don't know if people believe me, but I go through 1,000 symbols, and I'll reduce it down to 35 on my screen, and now it's going to be 10 on the hot list. And that's the whole point, to get organized. So I feel pretty confident of, I'm still going to miss tons of stuff. You can't, have everything all the time. But so, all right, so this last trade at 1670. And again, I like this so much. I'm going to put it on a chart just so I don't miss it. But it's not going to gap enough. Without gapping enough, it's worthless. So don't be confused. So other gap ups here. What do I like at a glance? There's nothing else I loved for the hot list, but I'm way off on a chart, way off on the side, way on the side. Like I have 3 levels of on the side. This is way on the side. I'm going to put Juno just for fun, half for education. Yeah, don't care. This is the gap here. I'll pull it up here. This is the gap list that I formed a minute ago. I'm just going through now to see. Oh, first of all, what we have to do is market bias real quick. The Qs are still gapping up a lot. So we had note a couple things. The hourly chart of the market. I'm doing a quick market bias here. Market chart. The hourly chart of the market is not busted. I mean, it's still an hourly uptrend. However, after a long rally, having a puke out day on a gap up typically follows up with more selling. However, now today we're gapping up halfway into this really weird patterns going on. I'm going to just have a neutral bias, but would look to play the first sign of weakness short. I think it's going to be a narrower day, staying in the lower half of yesterday's range, with a slight bias to continue falling because of yesterday's pattern. So not a big bias today, but a little bit bearish, but waiting for the bearish bias, not anything out of the open. Okay. So ICHR. This is up to 28 now, so this thing is clearing stuff, but this I'm just going to make a decision is not going to be tradable at the open probably. I'm going to put this on a chart way off to the right, ICHR. And then we had SRNE. DIA is the Dow money. DIA is a symbol for the Dow 30. So you're just telling me the market's gapping up again. SRGN, it's an ETF. Don't care about blue. So blue was mildly interesting, but it's probably not going to be tradable. So again, I'll put blue way over on the side on a thumbnail chart. So if you could picture where you're seeing here, what you're seeing here, this is 1/4 of one monitor. And then off to the right, I have 2 monitors of thumbnail charts, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 thumbnails on each monitor. So there's 2 monitors off to the right, monitor, and each one has 20 thumbnail charts on it. Perfect, huh? And naturally, it kind of goes like this, hot list, next to hot list, and who cares? So blue, okay, and then Ulta. You need to pick it up here just a little bit. Ulta, way off to the right. Steve, you asked that the other day. Is information going in one ear and bleeding out the other? I start them off at 1 minute, and I change them to 2 and to 5 and to 15 as the day progresses. On this platform, you can change your time frames just by hitting one keystroke, so it's easy to do. But I would do that anyhow. I used to go through one chart at a time and change them all. But SGMO is gapping to what? What the heck is 1785? Yeah, I don't care whatever this is. PSGG got it. MATK, MAT, and IBM. IBM way off to the right here. Okay, so gap up list. Two things made the hot list of those. Only one is really something that may be realistic, and that's AMAT. So AMAT is the first thing that's, hey, let's take a look at it. Now AMAT, the type of gap it is, it's not so shocking that I think it's going to deviate from the market a whole lot. So a market bias may play into AMAT a little bit. Halo is 1750. So I'm going to put Halo on a intermediate chart. You know, if you went 1, 2, 3, like hot list, intermediate, 3 way over to the right. This is going to be on intermediate chart, not the hot list. But I could see this setting up around 10 o'clock reversal time. AD&T, 75. Same thing. I'll put that next to Halo. I don't see trading that one probably, but and then Grow. I'm gonna just 389. I'm just gonna let that sit on the list for now. SPGL, that's right, I forgot about SPGL. SPGL make the hot list. And that's around 520. Hot list chart. Boom. NI, that's on my hourly chart list, which I didn't get to yet. I'm doing the gap list right now. I'm putting the gap list to the hot list. So we'll do the hourly charts in a minute. Ford, don't know what to do with GE. I like GE hot list short. GE hot list thumbnail. And Selge, Selge I'll put on way off to the right, just on a thumbnail to take a look at. And I have to move my monitors around a little bit. All right, and AMAT is going to gap above the hourly resistance, Joe. And as I did a little summary on it, I indicated that because the daily chart went into an uptrend just now, coming off of a weekly stage 2 uptrend, that gapping over hourly resistance is all that's really needed. And I'd rather have a tight little gap like that to work with than something that's gapping up $42 and you don't know what to do with. So I like AMAT. It's assuming it does clear that hourly pivot is what I need it to do. So Selge run on chart way over there, and that's the gap down list. So now I want to go to the hourly list, and that's this list right here. So starting with the QCOM. Now QCOM is nothing I can trade this morning. That's just, I want the pullback on that. That could be this afternoon, so I'll look at that later. LB Lima Bravo, the second one on the list. Now this is set to go early this morning. So this here we have a gap down. We roll over on a little sell setup, and then we have a daily, what do you call it, an hourly chart. It looks like a continuation play, 5-minute sell setup. So I like LB. I'll put LB here and put it on a chart. And then CTRP. CTRP, Charlie Tango Romeo Papa. What are we doing here? CTRP, hourly, what am I doing? What is this? Oh, got to put the right chart up, make that an hourly chart. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm not interested in that. Now that I'm looking at everything, I'm not that interested in CTRP, so I'm just going to let that go. Sometimes I change my mind. KHC, I'll put just on a chart. I'm not that familiar with this stock, even though it's on my list. It does 3 million, 4 million shares. Oh, this is the Kraft thing. That's why, because it's a merger a while back. That's right. Kraft Heinz. Nah, let's make that a hot list thing. So I have 4 bearish hot list thumbnails. Next is NRG, LB short. NRG is, I'm going to put on a bearish thumbnail off to the right. And AXP, Alpha X-ray Papa. Oh yeah, AXP maybe. I would put AXP on a bullish thumbnail off to the right, just to see as time goes on if we hold that major support hourly chart. Stage 2 daily major support setting up really nice on the hourly chart. We're bouncing off it. If we could have a, I don't know how the market timing will work out for that trade, but I'm going to put that on a chart off to the right. And then NI, Carmen liked NI for some reason, is, oh, so NI, this is just an hourly sell setup in a downtrend. Nothing fancy here. I'll put that on a chart over here. And again, it's not something you don't want to do that out of the open. Out of the open, you want to have something that's a gap or shock value or something happening. But I will look at the NI as time goes on a chart there. And the last one on my hourly list is MCK, which I will put on a middle thumbnail, possible short watch. Market gap, so here's the plan for MCK. Market gaps up and runs up the first 30 minutes, and MCK cannot trade above the prior highs. Short into those prior topping tails because we got all that green on the daily going into a prior weekly high. Boom, boom, boom. LB, you questioned if that was a long or a short. I mean, the only, and again, that's why you need setups. I mean, the only thing redeeming about LB long, well, not the only, is the weekly chart. The weekly chart broke its downtrend and pulled right back to a support area. So this area it gapped to after 3 days down is a support area. It's a pretty effective support area. It could mess up this trade, but as a day trade, I'm not going to get too worried about that if I get the right setup. So again, I'm looking at shorting that rally in here, not a new breakdown. So I'll leave it on the list. It's not a, it's not the best trade I've seen since what? What do you say these days when you say not the best trade since? EXPE is 131.70. Okay, we got a little gap there in EXP. It could be. I mean, you have an hourly chart in gear, daily chart clears this prior area. I'm not a big fan of playing those that are back into that disastrous area because they get hit so much. But I mean, you're playing that intraday. I mean, it's okay on EXP. I wouldn't yell at somebody for playing that. Yeah, sliced bread though is so old. It's so like 60s, man. You gotta. We need. What would a kid say today? What do my kids say? I don't know. They never use that expression. All right, so. And on the daily charts, there's one thing I liked on the long side here on the daily charts. Well, okay, USG, I want to throw that on a symbol here. See, USG is my type of play. And again, it's a lot of personality. I mean, like somebody just threw out EXPE. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's not what I do though. USG is more what I do. Now, what I don't want to see, USG, again, the timing is bad because we're gapping up and I have kind of a bearish bias. So if you're gapping up with a bearish bias, it's hard to get the market timing for a long. I don't know if that makes sense to you or not, but I'd rather see the market gapping down after yesterday, having confidence we'd rally back at some point, and then catch USG at the low because of market weakness, not because USG is weak. So, but nevertheless, I like the pattern. USG goes on a thumbnail to play out that support area after the gap. This thing is really sloppy intraday. So I'll throw this on a thumbnail, but since I don't have an area I'd want to buy right now, I don't know if this will ever set up in a way I'm going to trade it. But I'll throw on some GLW. I think I'm going to look at later. That needs to pull in a little bit more, maybe. Yeah, and I missed ITA. Milko going on a thumbnail off to the left, to the right. And iTub. Yeah, iTub on a chart off to the right. I mean, that's interesting, a consolidation if it holds up. Milko QCOM. CN, I want to get on a chart. This is yesterday's gapper that I took a shot at yesterday. Didn't work. Um, and then GM. Since Bitcoin came to work, there you go. Mirnus has the idea of not saying something that sounds stupid there. GM. A little too sloppy. CMCSA. Oh, where's the one I wanted? Darn it. Oh, man. See, uh-oh. Oh, this is going to be a tough one. Um, Only Tom can help me maybe. Tom, Gapper, a week ago, sideways, daily chart, formed a nice major support area, 2 letters in the symbol. I lost it from my list. It's because it's today I lost it because I had it on the daily list and then I didn't transfer. What? It's not here. It's on the bullish list. Any clue? Anyone's been in the room? Yeah, you're not going to know it. It's in my head. I know the chart. I can't think of the symbol. Shoot, what was it? Is it on my carry list maybe? Darn it. What was it? What was it? What was it? What was it? Gapped up a week ago, pulled in a day, been pretty much sideways, was sitting right on major support. It was actually maybe going to be my favorite play today. Darn it, and I destroyed that other list. Oh, wait a minute. It's on the letter list then, I think. Great, I didn't send a letter to myself. Where do I get this? It's not on there. What was it? No, not MU, not GG. No, it was a bullish pattern. We certainly looked at it a lot. Didn't look at it the last couple of days. It was sideways after a gap up. Came down to a really clean, nice major support area. Drive me crazy. Okay, anyway, so um, we're going to open here in 3 minutes. Because we're gapping up and I don't have a bullish bias, I'm less thrilled about doing a long play. I think my favorite thing might be a GE if I do anything at all early today. So I'm going to save my platform. HDSQ, no, thanks for trying. Nope. Boy, I'm picturing, not BA, but I'm picturing something with a B, A, and an A in it. Maybe it's Abbott, ABT. Boom, there it is, ABT. ABT. What's the matter with you people? Why couldn't you think of that? ABT. That's pretty good. I knew it had a B and an A, and I thought it was 2 symbols as 3. ABT. I like this. It's a powerful gap. It's gone sideways. The market yesterday dragged it down to major support. I like this ABT. Still doing 4, 6, 7 million shares a day. Like it. ABT. So ABT long, GE short. Out of my gut here, the first 2 favorites. Save your pages, and then take a minute. Thanks, Howard. Thanks for trying. Yeah, you're right. My fault. My bad. Again, I know the chart. I can see the chart in my head. I just can't. I don't look at symbols that much. I don't remember symbols. Back away from your desk a minute if you're about to trade and just think for a minute. Just close your eyes and just stop for a minute. All this morning prep. And again, I spent an hour and 45 minutes with you guys doing this. Normally this takes 45 minutes, so it's not that big of a job normally. And plus some of it I'm doing from the prior day. Like I clean up my list usually as the day goes on. I didn't do that yesterday just so you could see on my, when I close down the platform, I'll close up, clean up some lists and, do a little here and there. So it's typically I'm, less than 45 minutes open to close. But after doing all this stuff, your mind's spinning from looking at charts and you may be excited about a chart or two and you got to back up and just say to yourself, what are you here to do today? What are we doing? Is it a high odds morning to do anything? Do you have a tier 1 gap you're looking at? What's your market timing on these trades? Think about what you're supposed to do in your plan. Think about what you screwed up on this week. The market opened here. And think about just how aggressive you want to be with any trade you're about to do. And then go trade. As I just explained, AMAT could very well take off because we're gapping up and I don't have a bullish bias. A long is less likely for me to do. So I don't think AMAT's totally on its own. I think AMAT could work. I think it could be a great trade. I'm not going to do it out of the gates. And again, I'm talking about the first few minutes here. I like the GE short. I don't know if I would do it right there though. I'd like to see that on a rally. And then my Abbott is gapping up a little bit. Abbott's going to be the trade for me. Abbott's going to be a morning trade. I'm going to give it the room down to 58.40. 58.85 by 58.40. It's got a 8-cent spread. It's early in the morning. 58.85 by 40. Abbott long. It's going to be like a I would even do this one on the pullback probably. Switch that back to a regular session. I don't look at pre-market during the day. I just get a feel for it on the gaps. Abbott no trigger. I see my bet here is that Abbott will hold that major support area. I'm going to take it 58.70 now by 58.40. 58.70, 58.40 Abbott long. The spread's closing. It's looking better. It's official here. I mean, I get the post at 58.70, 58.40. It's going right here. All right. Here's the post. Still right there, 70 by 40. I'm looking for a bigger target. A couple cents won't matter.